So I'm guessing you're here for like the YouTube channel. This is it. This is the intro. No music, no lights, no ta da 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 da. Yep. Welcome to my channel.
Can you close the door?
Carlos is writing to me.
Can you give me some time and close the door? Hi, babies. Hi, honeys. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today, I don't know if you've actually been here, but to those of you that haven't been here, welcome. To those of you that actually have been here, hi, honeys. You're welcome to my channel. I admire your loyalty. So today I'm going to be talking about something. Just grab my bag real quick because I feel like a girl, you know. Okay, you know what? I'll do this in earrings, but yeah. I am a hotness, and this video is a story time, but it's not a story vlog. It's a story time. For those of you that have been here, y'all know how story times work with me. Y'all know how story vlogs work with me. So today, I've decided to release this story time story vlog. It's not a story vlog again. It's an actual story time. So, okay. It might be a story vlog, or it's gonna be a miniature story vlog or whatever. So it's about how I actually dumped my boyfriend before Valentine's Day. So today is Valentine's Day, and that's the reason why I'm actually a hot mess. Is because Ukiel has chosen life and not death. And not that he was killing me, but I do feel like I wanted to tell the story, and I wanted to tell it true and loud and clear. Okay, so basically what happened is, I'm gonna give the people fake names. So none of the people in the story actually have names, real names, for identification purposes, as well as I'm trying to avoid the fact that they are probably gonna murder me. Not really, but you know, I'm being dramatic, so. I'm just gonna cancel the names out because I want to protect their identities. They did nothing wrong, but I just feel like I want to respect them. You know, it's only nice that you extend an olive branch and become the greater person. Not say names to me, I'm not all that stuff. So yeah. It begins in 2017. Oh, also, like, other things, like the app names and stuff have also been censored, so you don't really, like, search into it. Okay, so basically what happened was this. I don't know how to say this, because I don't know how. Okay, so in 2017, I met this guy on this app, and it was like a Musical.ly app. Let's call it Musical.ly. It was like a Musical.ly app, and the guy's name was Johnny. And Johnny was the scientist, but Johnny is no more. Shut up. For what he thought was H2O was H2SO4. Okay, that was not important. But Johnny here met me on Musical.ly. He used to watch every video of mine. Y'all know, like, if y'all been following me from my Musical.ly, which is not exactly Musical.ly, that I was, like, very popular on that app. And I'd get a lot of followers and subscribers or whatever it is that you guys want to call it on this app. And one of the people that actually like followed me was Johnny, and Johnny had sexual desires toward me, but
I'm tired of it, Robbie, man. It's hurting me.
he would type it out during my live streams like, "Ooh, I like your body. Ooh, you got a nice face." And I would talk about like sexual things, like things that make quite a lot of sense, and they'd be like motivational and stuff, but Johnny there was not there. He was always like talking about, "Can I touch your body, baby?" But I was not there, you know. And eventually, like, people told me to kick him out of the stream. So I did. And yeah, guys, fine. Eventually, I don't know what happened. Oh, we got invited to this WhatsApp group. Obviously, like, people who use WhatsApp, we got invited to the WhatsApp group. I left the group because I had to do a lot of other things. Like, I had to focus on my school life. I had to focus on myself back then. And Johnny followed me, and he's like, "Yo, I found your number on WhatsApp." That was in 2017. And we started chatting. And he was like, "I'm really into you," and all that stuff. But I was not interested. This was like November, December. And then December came and left. Jan came and left. Jan 2018. And 2018 was like a horrific year for me because actually it was a relatively good year compared to 2019. So Johnny and I stuck together for a while, and we used to call each other, and we used to text each other. Okay. And then came April 2019, and I met this guy, okay, called, I'm just trying to find a name, Sia. Okay, let's just call him Sia. I met this guy called Sia. Wow, my ex. Okay. And Sia, I met him on the same app, but I met him through a girl called Joy. Okay. So Joy was friends with me, and Joy housed Sia because Sia was broke. And Joy was a lesbian and Sia was straight. But Sia was broke, so they were friends. And then Sia went over to live at Joy's house. And then I found Sia through Joy. So I was dating, like, I managed to hook up with Sia. And obviously, it was like, oh my God, you know, it was a nice situation, all jolly, happy, and stuff. And Johnny happened to be watching all this because I used to like stream my life, guys, like how I'm doing it right now. But not like, okay, this is actually very mild compared to how I was back then. I was really invested in this stupid ass app that ruined my life. Um, so then Sia and I started dating. Johnny was watching and he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so hurt. I don't appreciate what's going on." Sia and I's relationship was just so messed up, you guys. Our relationship was out of this world. It was so toxic, okay? Because I had a strict mom. I had an African mom, and my mom was like, "No, you guys are not allowed to be dating." You know, my mom was all about the person who, like an African mom, marriage before day in. You know, like you have to. I don't know like the dynamics of how olden days worked, but we had to do it that way, and my mom was not into it. And I was still young, you know. Like I wasn't there and he was there and he just yeah, he was really into me. And all that while Johnny was like in the picture still, but we're not dating. So then C and I had a really toxic relationship. It was just wild. It was crazy. And we were in love, but we were just he became rich, okay, because he was broke. He became like average. He wasn't rich. And then he moved out of my life. He just decided that he was going to break things off with me because he couldn't continue with what was going on with us. I wasn't cheating or anything. I had a strict mom, and I was very focused on my schoolwork, and I was trying to hide a lot of my insecurities from him, and I don't think he liked that, so he left as well. No, because for my previous relationship, I also had like my own shenanigans going on. So he left, and then Johnny was there. So I was heartbroken after Johnny left. Obviously, Joy and Johnny were trying to, like, they didn't know each other, but they also knew each other through the app. And one time, Joy and Sia went to Johnny's house and they found Johnny's sister there. And Johnny was praying that Sia should sleep with Johnny's sister so that we could break up. But obviously Johnny was that and he was not that kind of man. So that's how they knew each other. And then like okay, fast forward a little bit and to the breakup session, Sia left my life. Now it's just Joy and Johnny, but they haven't met each other ever again afterwards. They were just friends, but yeah, their friendship ended in the air somewhere. So now it was me, and I was trying to find comfort. First of all, Joy was here with me like 24/7, and shout out to her because she's still around and she supports a lot of my work. And Johnny was also here, and he was like, "Nah, I'll comfort you." But what I didn't know was that Johnny had a girlfriend, Annie. And obviously Johnny and Annie were getting it along, and there's commotion in the neighborhood that I didn't know about. Just pretend I don't know about them, but that's what happens. Then slowly our relationship with Joy dies down. We talk, but we didn't talk as often because now Joy is going through something with her girlfriend. Joy is lesbian, like I said, and she like goes through hectic stuff. And then fast forward to 2019 January, Johnny and I start talking. We become close. We become friends. Johnny and I are now really close friends. let's just pretend Joy and her are out of the picture. Joy and her girl are out of the picture. She did tell me that she broke up with her girl, and it was very sad, you know. I was sad because I was rooting for them the whole way through. So that happens. Now Johnny and I are now getting it, like, we're getting serious now. And then like a month later, Johnny says, I have a girlfriend and my girlfriend is pregnant. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, no, did it not hit me like a ton of freaking bricks? Like, oh my god. Bengila, guys. Bengila. Like, my eyes. Matias Wami. Like, you can still see them. They're still chilling there. So, then that happened.
What?
And then I was like, yeah, that's not cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I've fallen in love with this stupid ass man who made me fall in love with him, and I was just so in there like swimwear. I enjoyed everything about this guy because he was comforting me. He was there for me. He was there for me. He was there for me. Fine. Then Johnny hosts a party at his home, and he lives with these roommates. Johnny drives a car. He has everything. His life is in order. And then he says, listen, I'm inviting you over to a party. And Tabo, my roommate, is there. And Tabo, Tabo is single. You and Tabo will have, you know, your own session there. And I think this was like in March or so. March, April. And yeah, man, things just didn't go well. Okay, so I was like, okay, as long as you won't touch me, like, I know you got like your own girlfriend steez going on, you made your girlfriend pregnant. I don't want you to be making me like a second wife. So I arrive at the party. I see Johnny. It's the first time I'm actually meeting Johnny off the app because we normally talk on WhatsApp. And from like Musically, we moved into WhatsApp. So when we got to like real life, I don't know, like I just developed feelings for the guy. I loved him, he loved me, liked, and we were just so like we were in there in each other's faces. And the next thing, like he says, okay, this is my friend Tabo. I look at Tabo, I look over to Tabo. Tabo was like, Tabo's really cute. I won't lie. Great smile, great physique, lovely body and everything. But he's just not what I'm looking for. You know, neither is Johnny. Because we were friends for a while and he went through the most with me. That's why I became friends with him. So then basically now we became, like, now I was looking at these two guys and I was like, in my mind, decide what you want. So a girl got drunk, passes out on the couch. And I wake up in the morning and I'm chilling next to Johnny and I'm like, is this the decision I chose? I am so done. Like, I am so done. And I'm dumb at the same time. Now, what happened is apparently I forgot, like I passed out, like after having like a party session and stuff, I passed out. And then all I remember was just like I wanted to go to sleep, but I wanted to specifically fall asleep on the couch. I didn't want to go into either one of their rooms because they're both hot guys, but they just have their own issues, and I'm not there. I was just not there. Johnny's like, yeah, you know, you and I, we come from very far together. You know, you are like, yeah, you are the love of my life. He just got very sentimental real quick. And, you know, for me, I was like, oh my God, this is not what I had planned. So it happened, right? It happened that now Johnny was now falling deep in love with me. He has a girlfriend. By the way, his girlfriend was not there. His girlfriend was like in another province because obviously it was during the period that she was about to give birth, or she had given birth or something like that. And I remember just like storming out of his room, going into Tabo's room and like sleeping there for a while. And he was like, you know, what you need is someone who will love you and someone who will like treasure you. And then I got so mad and I walked back into Johnny's room. And yeah, that was just, my mind was just, I just wanted to go home that day. And yeah. So I don't know what day this was because I slept over at the home for like 4 or 5 days. I don't know. Yeah, but this was like in 2019. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like I I don't know what happened. Like I
babe, that's it. How? Oh.
oh, okay, now I remember what happened. So Johnny and I started fighting because I was like, how could you be so selfish? You said that I was gonna have tea to myself. Why am I sleeping on your bed? What is going on? You have to explain to me what is going on. And then the next thing, he tells me, like, no, initially you were supposed to be my roommate, but because I loved you so much, I had feelings for you. I decided to grab you and put you in the bed. I didn't do anything to you unless you told me to, and just like explain the full story. I was mad. I was talking mad, like, ugh, you know. And I'm like, you won't even break up with your girlfriend for me. It turns out he was, after like we had spoken like a month after this whole thing happened, he was gonna break up with his girlfriend, which was the most evilest thing you could possibly do to a human. After getting the poor girl pregnant, you want to break up with her. Turns out he was gonna break up with the girl, and then he was gonna like, we were gonna start our relationship afresh because we obviously like were into each other. But that's not what happened. I ghosted Johnny. Like, okay, so basically what happened, like, after that party, I, like, stopped all the kinds of nonsense and everything. I stopped my contact with Tabo, because, like, I only knew Tabor for, like, 3 days. I spoke to him on WhatsApp, and I deleted his number. I spoke to Johnny on WhatsApp. I deleted his number. And then I just, like, for 3 months straight, I was off WhatsApp. Every time they tried to call me, I ghosted both of them. And I started like running with my career as being an influencer and all that stuff, making funny videos for people, which are not exactly like, yeah. So basically now what happened was, 3 months, like fast forward to like a month later. Okay, no, it wasn't a month later, it was 3 months later where we actually spoke everything out, because that's when I got my WhatsApp. So I was at a job and I got my WhatsApp back, and then Johnny was like, hi, you disappeared on me, you know. Before you disappeared, you started telling me that you were all sick and all that stuff. Were you okay? I only said this because I was trying to run away from Johnny. You know, like I couldn't find a way to say, okay, listen, honey, I don't want to be with you no more. Like, I don't want to be involved in this, whatever it was. You know, because he obviously has a baby now, and he was just trying to involve me in this whole relationship dynamic, and it wasn't working. Yeah. So, but then that happened, and then Johnny told me the whole thing, like, okay, that, like, at that time when you were in my life, I was fighting with my girl, like, deeply so, and I just wanted to end the relationship and be with you. And I really liked you, and I was really into you, but unfortunately, I couldn't be with you because you ghosted me. And during that time, I didn't have anyone else, so I went and I fixed things up with my girlfriend, and now I'm like,
Oh, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
you know, like, stuff everything about you. So I left, you know, and we deleted each other's number. And then I don't know from how Tabo got my number, and I think he got it from Johnny, and he was like, I got your number from so and so, and I was like, okay, cool. So Tabo obviously told me that he liked me, but I was like, okay, cool. So I started like trailing through the months with him, like we were talking like civilly, like we were just talking, nothing like extraordinary. Whew. So then in November of last year, or in November 2019, I then met, like I was on my way to church. It was like the end of November, and I was on my way to church. And I was busy looking at like Taba's statuses, and I was reading his stories, and I was following him on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and all of that stuff, because he followed me first, but I was not really interested and into him. He followed me, and I was like, you know, I should actually look, like I should start doing boyfriend applications in my head. So I started doing them boyfriend applications, and he was one of them. And everyone else seemed to bore me. And then whoosh bang pop, I was like sober-minded as I am on my way to church on some, yo honey, so like would you like to start dating? Can we just hop into a relationship? Okay. So he was like, I don't know, like he was like, okay, cool, let's do this. And yeah, I mean, we started dating November, December, Jan. And then like February, oh, Jan, I met up with this guy. And first of all, I should have saw the red signs everywhere because this is what happened. When we started dating, he not once called me babe. He not once called me like all these cute pet names during the 3 months that we were dating. He didn't say anything like that. There was nothing going on between the two of us. He would never like he would just ask, oh, what you doing? Okay, that's good. So like, did you take a shower this morning? Okay. He didn't even ask what's my favorite movie, what's my favorite color. The only thing we used to like actually mix up on is like Twitter. Like whenever I trend, he was like, oh, your video is trending. How interesting. Not really trending, but like when my videos used to go like take the rounds and I'd hit like 60,000, 70,000, 40,000, he'd like call me like, oh, your videos have hit 40K. Oh yeah, and so said this about you. And for me, it was like, oh, okay. At first I was like, okay, maybe this guy is really serious, you know? And that was like one of the first red flags that I figured out too, was the Umuntu is not actually serious with me, because he's like, that's the only thing we used to commonly talk about. It hurt me in a way because I'm a lovey-dovey person. And then like to make it worse, when I actually met him and I tried to give him a hug, he was just on some, like he was giving me a little sister hug more than a girlfriend hug. And I wasn't even like on that stage of comparing him with Johnny, because he used to live with Johnny, which by the way, he actually moved out. He moved out like a year later. And during the phase, let's just go back a little bit because I just need to fill you up. During that phase, that moment, he spoke about, Johnny spoke bad about him. Like Johnny would speak bad about him like most of the time. And one of the fights we had was because Johnny was speaking bad about Tabor the most, you know, and I didn't like it. Hence why I deleted Johnny's number. And yeah, like I stopped speaking to him from that day on. And you tried to talk to me, reach out to me, and I was like, no. Okay, so now back to Tabor. We're dating because, you know, like people change when you guys actually are in a relationship. Like y'all call each other bae, y'all try to be committed, y'all try to talk every day, you know, you send each other little gifts, try and make means to go out. With this guy, I always, okay, when I was broke, he used to be on that stage of, okay, then there's nothing we can do if you can't bring yourself over to my house. And then that was the first thing. The second thing was the non-name calling or like the sweet names or anything like that. Non-affection when you actually meet him. And then the third thing was just like no one knew about me. And when I actually asked him, yo, so what are we? He was like, we're growing into something. We're not even friends. We're not even like relationship thing, but I asked you for a relationship. I mean, so that I can rectify in my head what we are. So I sat up all night on the 13th and I thought about like things like how would I make this nigger's life better? Okay, he's not actually a nigger, but how would I make this guy's life better? Because clearly I am nothing like that he wants. You know, like every time I tried to talk to him or I tried to like talk to him about relationship stuff, it was always going into the sex and never really like the let's try and figure out our life. Let's try and build the career part of it. Let's try and build our spiritual part of it. Our mental health, is our mental health on check? Are we on check? And you know, for us, for me, that's what matters in a relationship. Sex is one of the last things because that's what like kind of seals the deal. But with this guy, yeah, no, it was not working at all because it was like Okay, so let's try and talk about, like my birthday. We're gonna have sex on your birthday. Bruh. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I was trying to find ways to help. I was trying to find ways to kind of like what makes him happy, what brings out his ambition. And I said, how about we do this and this? Why you always comparing me to this guy? Why you always doing this? Why? What does this have to do with anything? He was just getting all defensive. And then I figured out that was like my last red light. I'm like, I'm not gonna take a person who's gonna treat me like a neighbor more than a partner that we're supposed to be girlfriending and boyfriending. The best thing to do for my mental health, for my life, for me, is to let go. Being the person that I am, in case you don't know, I am an influencer on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. So that matters most to me because it is my main job. If I want my life to go forward, I cannot really show off this person who won't show me off to the world, because I believe the man does it first before the woman. I'm that person. I grew up that way. Like, don't rush things until the head of the house, in my perspective, if the head of the house hasn't done anything, because he will be eventually, if we get there, he will be the head of the house. And don't try and post pictures of him if he hasn't posted pictures of you. Don't try and tag him if he hasn't tagged you. Don't try and say stuff about him if he hasn't said anything about you. And so far, he was not making any like moves. It did hurt me. I took some time. I cried it all out. And I decided that I was going to call him the night before and say, listen, I'm breaking up with you. 90 days is a lot of time to decide whether a person is for you or not for you. And for me, I had more than 90 days to decide. He was not for me, and thus I needed to let everything go. And then I decided, and I texted him and I said, you know what? I'm gonna break up with you. Oh, okay, so that's cool with me. And then I texted back, like, are you not gonna try and like attentionize me? Are you not gonna try and like, hey, is there a reason why? If you're here for games, he just like, if you're gonna be here for games, if you're being childish right now, you don't have to say it like that. You don't have to. For me, that was a bit much. That was like, that drew the line for me. I was like, okay, so he's gonna be offensive by calling me childish. He's gonna be defensive and saying like things like, well, if I'm gonna play with his feelings, then we shouldn't do this. Why were we doing it in the first place? So for me, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is the time where I walk and I don't look back. Next time we're going to be doing relationships the right way. We get to know each other first and then we do the things, because that's why I'm kind of like a mess, because I've been crying things out. It's Valentine's Day. Everybody's celebrating. People are going out for pizza, getting some good shenanigans done. Couplings are coupling. Couples are, making things happen. Here I am, like, ranting my story on this freaking Valentine's Day. And I've learned my lesson. You don't just date any Tom, Dick, Harry, and Sam. You don't just take anyone from the bag and just decide based on, like, what you see on the pictures. You need to know the person. You need to find out more about them. And yeah, that was me. And that was the story. That was the tea, sis. Actually, in this case, it's the coffee. I need to go and drink my coffee now because it's almost time. And so, yeah, I've learned a lot. And this was the longest story time, like, of my life. And thank you so much for watching and for listening. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you think of the story. I tried, you guys. This is my first, like, proper story time without, like, it's not a story vlog. So, yeah. I am a little sick, as you can hear with my voice, because I've been crying on this Valentine's Day. It's not easy to break up with someone just before Valentine's Day because you expect, like, flowers and stuff. But like, I care more for my mental health, my career, and my school life, and physical, spiritual, and everything equally life. So, yeah. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe somewhere down there. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That sums up the video. And don't forget to follow me on my social medias. And thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and happiness.